What's up, Trek Nation, and welcome back to After the Snap. It's me, Tasha Pierce, ready to share my thoughts on Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 9. This one is titled Vox, and it goes a little something like this. A devastating revelation about Jack alters the course of Picard's life forever, and uncovers a truth that threatens every soul in the Federation. The final battle begins as Picard and his crew race to save the galaxy from annihilation. If you haven't seen the episode, I'm sure it's been properly spoiled for you by now, so come on in, I'll spoil it some more. Really, that's your warning if you want out. This is an episode you'd probably rather see for yourself. Everybody else, let's go. After spinning our wheels through episodes 7 and 8, Vox jumps right into what we want to know. What the hell is behind that door? Fortunately, Jack doesn't have to face this alone. Deanna Troi, counselor extraordinaire, Starfleet's finest, the best of Betazed, is there to guide him through the experience and offer her unwavering support. In fact, she opens the door for him, which is something I wish I could have done 3 weeks ago, but I digress. Deanna opens the door and sees what has been hiding behind it all this time, then promptly checks out of Jack's mind and gets the F out of them. Y'all know that for the last month, I have been selling my idea for who or what was behind that door to anyone who would listen. I even made a video detailing all the ways my theory was sound. So when that door was finally open, I had skin in the game. I needed to know if I could have saved Jack the anguish and correctly told him weeks ago what was tormenting him. So when Deanna ran out of that counselor's office, whoa, upgrade. But anywho, when she ran out of that office and approached Beverly and Picard with what she found, I was literally jumping out of my skin. Then we got the Deanna Cam version of what she saw, and I was wrong. Kind. It wasn't Locutus like I thought. It was a whole effing Borg cube. That explains why she pieced out so quickly. She was like, damn it, Jack, I'm a counselor, not a Janeway. Now, I actually like the fact that she immediately considered Jack a danger. Even though she's close to his parents, she hasn't formed any kind of bond with him. So she's the most impartial person on the ship because he hasn't had an opportunity to charm her pants off, figuratively or literally. Now, last episode, Seven and Shaw talked about facing consequences. This week, the writers on Picard had to face a few of their own because by squandering 90 minutes of storytelling in episodes 7 and 8, they found themselves having to move at breakneck speed to resolve some of the plot points that were established throughout this season. So this led to them breaking one of the cardinal rules of screenwriting. Show, don't tell. I learned that from Eric Voss. Now there was a lot of telling in episode 9. Fortunately, the reveals were compelling, but I'm afraid for our finale, there's still some loose ends and only about 1 hour of story left. And with that said, I was satisfied with the explanation for Jack's Borg association. However, I'm perplexed by Jack's choice to run straight to the Borg cube when the going got tough. Like, what did he think was gonna happen? The giant cube was calling him from across galaxies. Did he really think he'd be able to resist its pull once he got close to it? It seemed like he should have gotten as far away from it and everyone as he could, not run from the frying pan into the fight. So yeah, that bothered. So anywho, he met his evil stepmother, the Borg Queen. She gave him the designation Vox, Latin for voice. Locutus was the one who speaks, and Jack is the voice. Now Jack was also being fully assimilated when we last saw him, so I wonder how that's going to turn out. I was also satisfied with how the crew members 25 and under were soft assimilated, and I'm okay with the older delegation having to save the day. All of that was well explained. But it would have been cool for us to have seen all of that play out. Now, there were hints throughout the season that the transporters were involved, and I like the idea that the use of this technology was once feared by humanity, but was now such an integral part of Federation society that its potential misuse was never considered. I would have liked to see more of that. Okay, y'all, we're heading to Frontier Day. Now, when we get back to Earth space, we see all the ships coming home and getting into elaborate formations. Now, there are a lot of ships and other ish going on in this sequence. So if you'd like to dive deeper into all that stuff with me and the After the Snap community, join us on our live stream Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, where we go a little deeper into the episodes and share theories. It's a good time. I hope to see you there. Anywho, one thing I can't gloss over is Admiral Shelby. Y'all remember her from Best of Both Worlds? She was Commander Shelby then. She always wanted a posting on the Enterprise. She was a quote-unquote Borg expert. Well, her dumb ass is such an expert that she didn't see how linking all these ships in the fleet was a Borg move. Now, I understand how appealing the thought might have been once we saw Borgatti use a Borg frequency to do something similar in Picard Season 2, but didn't it occur to her to just use a squadron of ships for this purpose? Then to see her propped up on the Enterprise F on Frontier Day really pissed me off. It's almost like Starfleet doesn't learn from its mistakes. If Lower Decks and Prodigy are part of the same universe, we saw what happens when or if ships are interconnected. But Shelby is the Borg queen of Starfleet, so when she got it, I might have snickered. Just a little. Really, if she was your favorite character, you need therapy. Okay, now that the Titan is close to the fleet, they're losing helm control. Oh Lord, what are we gonna do? Well, if we're under 25, we're gonna be assimilated. And not just on the Titan, but across all of Starfleet. Chaos ensues as we watch this crew whom we've grown attached to, including the LaForge girls, change right before our eyes. Now, after the captain of the Excelsior communicates that he and his crew have retaken their bridge, the automated system just takes that ship out of formation and the rest of the fleet destroys it. And damn it, I think Elnor was still on that ship. After Shaw realizes the Excelsior sent its message from a maintenance channel, all the old heads must make their way to a maintenance shuttle that is not linked to the fleet. The Borgified crew catches up to their old asses, so Shaw and Seven lay down cover fire so the older ones can board the shuttle. Soon, Raffi joins them. Now, in the battle, Shaw is shot, and with his dying, quote-unquote dying, with his dying breath, he transfers command of the Titan to Seven of Nine, calling her by her name for the first time. Now, I don't know how much good it does to transfer command of a ship that you have lost control of to your first officer, but it was a beautiful moment. And y'all know, I've had some issues with Shaw as a character for most of the season. I still don't think he should have been killed. The first time I watched this episode, I was like, oh well, Shaw's dead. But on the next viewing, I got mad. His redemption should have come in defeating his boogeyman, not dying at their hands. Yes, I get the parallel between the lieutenant who chose her crew's life over her own and his Wolf 359 origin story, and what he did on Frontier Day was very similar. But while that lieutenant was saving her young crew, his crew was assimilated. There's no justice in him losing his life in this way. So hopefully we find out he survives by Seven doing something off screen. I can't believe I'm saying that. Now that the older contingent is safely in the shuttle and flying away from the mess in Sector 001, we see they're heading to 8th and Prime, back to the Fleet Museum. This is the part of my theory I got 100% right. Way back in Bounty, Alondra LaForge mentions Hangar Bay 12. It turns out that Geordi has been rebuilding the Enterprise D for the past 20 years. Giggity. See, this ship is ready to fly, and it isn't connected to the fleet. Of course, I felt all the feels, especially when we heard the voice on the computer, and it was Marshall Barrett. It was perfect. A little tidbit I learned is that the bridge set was built completely. There are no CGI elements to it at all. Everything we see there is really there. That must have been so much fun for the production design team, and to see these old warriors back on the bridge. They're heading back to Earth to retake their family. And who better to go into battle with than your own family? And I'm including the Enterprise D. She's just as much part of the family as anyone else. And then Picard, when he takes his seat in the captain's chair with that familiar tug at the bottom of his jacket and gives the order, engage. My eyes welled with tears because I knew I'd be giving this episode the first 5 of the season. Yeah, there were a few little nitpicks, but how could this be anything less than a perfect penultimate episode? Hopefully the team sticks the landing in next week's finale, which is entitled The Last Generation, and it has an interesting description. In a desperate last stand, Jean-Luc Picard and generations of crews, both old and new, fight together to save the galaxy from the greatest threat they've ever faced as the saga of Star Trek The Next Generation comes to a thrilling, epic conclusion. Yeah, you heard me. Generations of crews with an S. I feel like we might get a few surprises. I really hope Janeway and Tuvok find their way into this melee along with the others? We'll find out in 1 week. Sound off in the comments, and while you're there, give me a like. If you're new to these parts, consider subscribing with your notifications in the on position so you won't miss a video or a live stream. Show some love for the super thanks or click join to join my collective, like these fine folks. With all that, thank you for joining me this week. I will see you in the next one. Live long and prosper. Peace.